We could fairly describe this as bad news for the Biden campaign, and they've had their fair share this week. The Cook Political Report, it's a nonpartisan election forecaster, is now shifting 6 battleground states in the direction of former President Trump. They are Arizona and Georgia. Nevada, they go from toss-up to lean Republican. Minnesota, Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, and New Hampshire shift from likely Democrat to lean Democrat. I want to bring in Cook Political Report Senate and Governor's editor Jessica Taylor to break it all down for us. Jessica, how did you arrive at these shifts? How consequential do they appear to be?
We've seen this shift toward Trump in these states that Biden won last cycle for some time now. But when we also look at where Biden has dropped in national polling since the debate, even a 2-point shift in the national landscape will translate to even a minor shift in these states. And so, it's consistent with where we are seeing Trump doing better and Biden struggling with particularly Latino voters and particularly Latino men in Arizona and Nevada, and with black men in a state like Georgia. And so we really could not say that these are really true toss-ups at this point, that this is a place where, when we were talking with our sources and when our editor-in-chief Amy Walter in her analysis said that just even a small shift in the drop that we've seen in the debate and where undecideds are, that this necessitated really a shift. And so what this tells us is that it seemed like this for some time, but really the only plausible path to 270 for Joe Biden at this point looks like keeping that blue wall intact with Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
And based on the sourcing, based on the data, is this shift reflective entirely of the debate, or was some of this moving before the debate?
I think there was a little bit more of a stasis before the debate. And so if there's anything that the Biden campaign could take some solace in, is that some of these voters are not, as we call them, the double haters that that dislike both candidates. They're not necessarily moving toward Trump, but they're moving away from Biden. So the question is, do they win them back? Do those people skip the presidential vote? Do they only vote down ballot? There's also a concern for the Senate and House. What do they do? Do these voters just simply stay home? Do they vote third party? We also unveiled our CPR polling average this week, and also saw, the biggest shift that we've seen in the race, even though it's a very small one, that shows Trump now at 47 in our average of really polls that we trust, to 44% for Biden. And that is the biggest shift we have seen in the race. So I think this debate was really a seminal moment, and clearly what comes after it. And especially with the RNC next week, we typically see that nominees would get a bump in that.
Right. 3 to 4 points is the historical average. 3 to 4 points would be really important with this backdrop of a shift in these states. And you mentioned something that I want to spend just a second to talk about, because I think voters and viewers sometimes get different information about this. They will hear, well, don't pay attention to national numbers because we elect presidents based on state-by-state outcomes. But to your point from just a moment ago, shifts in national numbers also can be found to be reflective in battleground states.
Yes. And where we have seen, because of the Electoral College advantage that Republicans have built in some of these states, you have to have Democrats win by a significant point. I mean, where we saw Biden winning the popular vote, and even Clinton winning the popular vote wasn't enough in 2016. Biden won it by a larger margin, by about 4 points. But if we're looking at Trump winning the popular vote, is now very much on the table, which I think that we would not have thought even, a few months ago, perhaps.
And a win for former President Trump in the popular vote could quite conceivably translate to a very large electoral rout or landslide.
We could be talking about easily 300-plus electoral votes.
Maybe 350 or something.
Maybe. When you have states like Minnesota and New Hampshire that are on there, there's increasing worry. We didn't shift it this time, but we recently shifted, Virginia into a more competitive category that was a 10-point state. I'm hearing even concern in a place like New Mexico. So it's these states, if we're talking about those states, then we're not talking, about there's just such a
There's
narrowing
no blue
path.
wall ever that can prevent that.
Right.
Exactly. Jessica Taylor, thank you so very much for your expertise and your time.
Thank you.